Welcome to Beyond the Bricks, where Habitat finds out what's really going on in New York City's co-ops and condos. I'm Carol Ott, and today my guest is Carl Borenstein, president of Veritas Property Management. So let's talk about roof replacement. This is one of the more expensive jobs that buildings can do, and thank God it doesn't happen that often. You have experience with one building that faced a very unwelcome surprise. Can you tell me about it?
Yes, Carol, that's correct. Invariably, roof replacements are a costly project, especially when you're doing a full roof replacement, meaning you're ripping everything down to your deck. And the reason why you're doing this is because you're trying to get a manufacturer's warranty, which is called an NDL. And that means no dollar limit, so that there's no excuse in the event of a leak that the manufacturer will cover any defects and pay for the repairs. During this one particular roof replacement, it was discovered by the engineer that because of the fact that new roofs have a requirement of being built up with insulation of about 3 or 4 inches, that the spacing between the new roof and the through-wall flashing was not to the height code requirement for the manufacturer.
So let's just explain what through-wall flashing is.
So through-wall flashing is a sheet of copper that basically acts as a step between the bricks that allows that any water getting into the parapet wall will have a way of kind of dripping out onto the roof and making its way to the drain. So that in the event it's hitting from the outside of the parapet wall, the inside of the parapet wall, it has an avenue of escape.
I see.
And so the manufacturers of the roof manufacturers basically of their product required a minimum number of inches between the roof and this through-wall flashing. But again, as I explained, new code requirements on roofs built them up a couple of inches higher that we weren't at that code requirement. And the engineer was basically explaining that a change order was needed. It's a dreaded word, the change order, when you're dealing with these type of projects.
Because it means more dollars.
It means more dollars, and it means sometimes significant more dollars. In this particular case, this change order of what the engineer was recommending was removing all the current through-wall flashing and having to reinstall them higher so that we would have the height differential needed. But the cost of this change order was well over $35,000, which was a total surprise, mostly because 3 or 4 years earlier, the building had just installed this through-wall flashing.
Yikes.
So it was a conundrum. How do we deal with the situation, and how do we address it or come up with a different solution? And I think that what we did was come up with a great compromise. Not willing to accept the engineer's word, not that the engineer was wrong, but feeling that there was another way around this, we contacted the manufacturer for the roof, the roofing material, and had them come out and meet us on the site together with the engineer, as well as bringing in the engineer from the prior job that was done where the through-wall flashing was actually installed, so that I could have all the parties together, because we're trying to hash out what could we do. And at the end of the day, a compromise was created by the roofing manufacturer to allow what they call a liquid membrane to be installed between the distance of the new roof and this through-wall flashing. And the cost to the building was basically paying just for the material of the liquid membrane, which was about $5,000. And the roofing manufacturer agreed then to give his full no exception warranty, and we were able to resolve the situation. Had we not been able to resolve it, the only option would have been was getting a warranty with exceptions. And I think any warranty that has exceptions loses the whole idea of having what's called an NDL warranty.
And is this I just want to ask, is this a common thing that you would get the manufacturer to come out to the building?
Well, at the end of the day, the manufacturer always has to still come out to the building because they need to do a final inspection on the roof and issue their warranty. Here, it was well before we were at that point, because we were trying to avoid the change order. So it's not common to bring them out during the course of the job because of the fact that you're trying to find an avenue around something. It's more common for them to come at the end of the job to confirm the job was done to their specifications and issue their warranty.
I see. And the takeaway for other boards?
Is sometimes, not that people are wrong, but there are other ways to think out of the box and to continue to try to come up with other solutions and other ideas.
Thank you very much.